Walk by faith, not by sight. These 6 simple words carry a thunderous weight, a divine whisper that echoes through the valleys of despair and the mountains of hope, a reminder that life's most beautiful destinations are often reached not by the clarity of vision, but by the courage to believe when there's nothing visible to hold on to. To walk by faith is to step boldly into the unknown with nothing but trust as your compass and belief as your map. Because in a world that demands tangible proof before action, faith dares to say, go even when you cannot see the road, and that is where real transformation begins. Not in the certainty of what lies ahead, but in the conviction of your soul that something greater lies beyond the fog of today's struggle. Every great achievement, every extraordinary success, every powerful legacy began not with a clear view, but with a brave heart. Abraham left his homeland not knowing where God would lead. Martin Luther King Jr. marched without seeing the end. Of racism, Nelson Mandela sat in a prison cell with faith stronger than bars, believing that freedom would come, and they all knew that sight might show you barriers, but faith reveals bridges. That sight may show you danger, but faith gives you destiny. That sight sees giants, but faith sees victory, even when surrounded by darkness, by criticism, by failure, by fear. You must dare to believe that you are not being buried but planted. And though you see no light, the seed of greatness is germinating in the soil of silence, and faith is watering it every day. This is not a motivational cliche, this is the truth of human existence. That the greatest breakthroughs often come at the edge of breakdowns, that the most profound changes emerge from the most painful chapters. And when your eyes show you reasons to quit, your faith will whisper reasons to keep going, because faith is not ignoring reality. It's defying it with higher truth, not denying the storm, but knowing the storm has a master. When you walk by faith, you no longer depend on the applause of others, the evidence of success, or the visibility of results. You walk because you know that purpose is pulling you even when progress is invisible, and so many people give up. Not because they're weak, but because they were looking with the wrong lens. They were walking by sight in a realm that requires faith, judging the size of the dream by the size of their current situation. But here's the truth: if your current reality could accommodate your destiny, it wouldn't be called a dream, it would be called a plan. And dreams, by nature, are unreasonable, unimaginable, and unreachable by natural means. That's why they require supernatural determination, irrational optimism, and the kind of faith that walks when the path disappears, speaks when the crowd is silent, gives when there's nothing left to offer, and hopes when hope itself has grown weary. Because walking by faith means trusting the process when there's no proof of progress, showing up every day with excellence even when there's no applause, believing in the promise even when you're surrounded by problems, and knowing that delay is not denial, that silence is not absence, that hardship is not punishment, it is preparation, divine alignment, sacred construction. Too many people walk away from their calling because they expect instant clarity, immediate results, or visual confirmation. But that's not how faith works. Faith is the evidence of things not seen. It is the audacity to begin when the end is unknown. It is the fire that refuses to die out even when soaked in tears. It is the hand that reaches up even when life knocks you to your knees. It is the strength to rise after failure, the voice that says, try again after rejection, the courage to be misunderstood, mocked, and overlooked, and still move forward because your why is bigger than their words. And yes, faith will cost you. It will cost you comfort, convenience, and certainty. But what it gives in return is priceless. Growth, transformation, character, miracles, and a story worth telling. Think about every moment you almost gave up but didn't. Every silent battle you fought and won. Every lonely road you walked in tears and ended up stronger. Those weren't just random moments. Those were proof that something divine was carrying you, that even in the silence, you were being shaped, refined, built into someone unshakable, and that's what walking by faith does. It doesn't just get you to the destination, it makes you worthy of it. When you walk by sight, you're limited by what you can see. But when you walk by faith, you tap into what cannot be seen, touched, or explained, and suddenly, you start seeing opportunities where others see obstacles. You hear purpose in the midst of chaos. You find peace in the middle of pressure, and you realize that every closed door was a redirection, every failure was a lesson, every delay was a setup for something greater, because when you walk by faith, you don't need everything. To make sense, you just need to know who's walking with you. Faith says, I will move forward even when I'm afraid. Faith says, I will build even when the foundation looks shaky. Faith says, I will keep showing up even when no one is watching. And when you live like that, when you truly walk by faith, you become unstoppable, not because you never fall, but because you never stay down. This kind of walk, this kind of belief, separates the dreamers from the doers, the watchers from the warriors, the followers from the leaders. So let them doubt you, let them laugh, let them leave. Your path is not defined by their approval. Your future is not measured by their imagination. Your worth is not based on their recognition. Walk anyway, rise anyway, believe anyway. Because the day will come when the very people who questioned your journey will ask how you made it, and you will smile and say, I walked by faith. And they will never understand the weight of that walk, the lonely nights, the silent prayers, the hidden battles, the inner wars. But you will, and that's what matters. Because walking by faith isn't about perfection, it's about persistence, about planting your feet in hope when the world around you is sinking in fear, about holding onto a vision so deeply that even when it's buried under the rubble of disappointment, you keep digging until it breathes again. And if today you feel tired, unsure, broken, stuck, don't quit, don't despair, because you are exactly where faith begins. Not at the top, but at the turning point. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows, where the greatest strength is born, where the most resilient faith is forged, and from there you will rise, not by sight, not by circumstance, not by logic, but by the unwavering, unshakable, undeniable power of faith.